Hi, Sweet as Honey listeners. Our sponsor is the Pickleball Headquarters Chicken and Pickle. Chicken and Pickle is your go-to destination for all things family friendly. Whether you're hitting the pickleball courts for some friendly competition, catching the big game with your friends, or enjoying brunch and yard games with your family, they have it all. Food, drinks, events, fun. Chicken and Pickle is the coolest backyard you'll never want to leave. Chicken and Pickle has locations nationwide and 2 right here in DFW. Text CNP Sweet as Honey to 43618 for a free shareable appetizer when you visit your nearest location.
Sweet as Honey Season 2 with Kennedy Dendy.
Hey, Sweet as Honey fam. We are back on set in the beautiful formation at the Star. So excited to be here and even more excited to welcome a very special guest, Miss Kennedy Dendy.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for our conversation.
Me too. We're kind of getting to know each other as this podcast happens, so we will both be listening very closely to everything you have to say. But I'm really excited. I've heard so many good things about you from mutual friends and around the Cowboys, and so I'm happy to just have this time to talk.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Let's get started telling me and the audience just like a little bit about you, where you grew up, where you're from, what you do.
For sure. So I'm Kennedy. I grew up in Grapevine, Texas. I was very involved in tennis and cheer and track. Went off to Baylor University to study broadcast journalism and film and digital media, and dove kind of right into that entire world freshman year of college. And so went off to pursue a career in broadcast journalism after graduation. So it was in Eugene, Oregon at the start of 2020, covering wildfires and breaking news and a presidential election. Was there for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And then went off to Jacksonville, Florida to another reporting job where I met my now husband, just made so many memories, and stepped away from the news world last February, and I now work for the Dallas Cowboys, and this is definitely the most peace I felt in any of the chapters I've been in, so I'm just excited to see what else is in store.
You've been all over the place.
Yes, all over the map.
Okay, so many questions. News and reporting. I know we talked a little bit about it, but you do have an Emmy Award.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that and how it happened.
Yes, so growing up, I didn't even realize earning an Emmy was possible at like the local news level. Yeah. I knew that it could be like for a sitcom or sports, but you know, I just went into that first contract right out of school, 2 weeks after graduation, didn't know a single person in Oregon, but was just ready and eager to see what that life had to offer. And so yes, again, just had my head down, working, grinding. And one day my news director said, "You've been nominated for an Emmy Award." It was for
so cool.
Coverage of wildfires. So in Oregon, there was some devastating wildfires that swept across so many acres and impacted so many families. And part of the reason I got into that industry was to storytell and to really get to know those communities. And so was nominated, and then a few months later, the award season came. It was virtual because of the pandemic, and hearing those words that you won an Emmy Award and that being shipped to my house was just surreal, because I had always put it like on a vision board of I want to win one by age 30 or something like that. And I was like 23 years old or 22 years old, and it was just all part of, I think, the story that God's had for me. So awesome. It was a crazy experience.
I would love to see that footage. Like now I want to go back and
I'll show you. I'll show you.
I could see you being really good at that.
Thank you.
Yes, you just have like a TV personality to you. So you decided to give that up and move to what you do now, working for the Cowboys, working in social media.
Yeah.
How has that change been?
Yeah, it was one of those things that I had to realize that even though that life, that world was something I had worked so hard on since I was a freshman in college, it's okay to pivot. It's okay to try something else out. Mental health is a big importance of mine. And at that time, I was covering breaking news, getting to work at 3 a.m, covering all types of tragedy under the sun. I started just to not really recognize myself. I felt more like a robot than a human. And just knew it was time to step away and into something different. And I just trusted that God has a bigger plan out there, and that's okay if it's something different than what I had been doing. And so I stepped away last February and just started working on social media and marketing, and I would call up restaurants or food trucks or Airbnbs and ask them if I could make a reel for them or take photos for them. And like, I feel like any time in my life when a chapter is closed, I'm not the type to just sit there and sit back. And I don't see it as giving up or starting over. It was just a pivot for me. And so I just started to really work on myself in that craft and was able to finally start applying for jobs in that space, and applied for a job with the Dallas Cowboys in social media. And after interviews, got that call saying, welcome to the Cowboys. And it was the best feeling. I love my job, love what I do. And I just know it's definitely where I'm supposed to be right now.
Yeah. Do you feel like you thrive more in this space?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There's just more room to be creative, and no day is the same, which is something that I love. Like one day I'm creating content about food, or at the stadium capturing all of the game day excitement. Like it's definitely something where I feel more like myself and can breathe, and I'm just surrounded by good, positive people, which is not something that I always had in different stages of my life. So it's definitely something I can see. Yeah, God was completely in the entire time.
Yeah, and it's cool. You get to immerse yourself in like the game day experience and the fans, and you're there capturing like the reactions and the behind the scenes of it all, which is really special.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
and I could see how like in news there's a lot of heavy things, and that could take a toll on a person, especially waking up at 3 a.m. or probably earlier.
Right.
And that.
It does take a toll on your mind, and you have to protect that. Like I've always told friends who are either still in that industry or looking to pivot that no one has to live that life but you. Like you have to wake up every day and go to work. And I just remember feeling so anxious, and I'm a confident person. I've always felt that way about myself, but I just started not really feeling like Kennedy, or people would walk up to me in the grocery store. I love that story, or you do such a great job, but they had no idea how I was actually feeling on the inside, because they just see you and I'm smiling and giving the morning report or just sharing what was going on in that city. But I just learned early on that you have to protect your peace and your mental health, and that's something you have to protect for sure.
Yeah, I know we talked a little bit about mental health, and like it's really important for you and to talk about it. So have you had kind of struggles within that or in other things in life that you've grown from and learned how to handle that better?
For sure. Working in news, that was the first time for me personally that I have been impacted, but it's definitely something that has taken place within my family. I lost my dad when I was 5 years old to, he took his life, and it's still a very vivid picture in my mind. I mean, I'm 5 years old, just eager, expectant to see my dad, and I was at it. My mom, my brother, and I were going to a New Year's Eve party, and my dad had decided to stay back that night. And I just remember shortly after midnight, running through the doors, excited to see him at home. And I just remember seeing him laying there. And at that time, my mom did, a good job of making sure we were leaving and going to the neighbor's house. And she called 911. But it's definitely something that has shaped myself and my family. And I was 5 years old, and, people can always, see a picture perfect family. And, my dad had a wife who loved him and who he loved as well, and 2 5-year-old twins. And I think that's something that within my life right now, I always try to instill in people that, you can look around and think people have it all together, and that their life they're living their best life, but you just never know what someone's going through. And those words from the enemy or just those thoughts can be so deep, and that's real. And that's just another reason why I decided early on to protect my mind and to take the steps necessary through therapy and conversation and just awareness, because no job is worth your peace or your mental health. And but my family has been very just strong through it all. And my mom's just been a rock for us and has always allowed us to just think in terms of not letting your past determine your future. And there's so many ways that we continue to honor him. And I just want to continue to carry on, his legacy for sure.
Yeah, they gave me chills just listening. I can't even imagine that. But I think the way that you've handled it and, making a change within yourself and being aware, like you said, and having conversations around it is like so important. And I feel like we just are so go in this culture that it is sometimes like hard to stop and be like, okay, am I happy with what I'm doing?
For sure.
Can I keep going? And it's an important topic to talk about.
Yeah.
And I imagine that your faith was really like impacted by that as well. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I think early on, I've just had this understanding, and again, something my mom has instilled in us is that we're not meant to do life alone. So through community and getting involved in a church, every chapter I've been in, from college to Oregon to Florida to moving back to Texas in my hometown, just surrounding myself with Christ-like community has been very important to me. And also just remembering that God's plan is always better. Mm-hmm. And there is going to be a time when, we have to just take care of one another. And there's just so many ways and so many times in my life where God's just hand and his favor has just walked me all the way through. Because, there have been times when people just think, oh, you have it all together, or you got this job, or you doing this, but not a lot of people don't know my story, and that there have been hard times, and there are times that I continue to walk through. So I think for sure just that theme of provision and protection has carried me in every season that I've been in.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's something everyone can relate to, and like looking from the outside, you're right, people make assumptions like, oh, she must be fine, like she's got a great job and stuff, but you don't know somebody's story. Right. And I think it's really important to get to know people's stories and why they are the way that they are. And you can really be impacted by that, and sharing testimonies and like all that stuff is so special. And I think just in my own life, in hard times, I've always looked back on like past seasons of my life that were difficult and how God got me through that and like his faithfulness through it. And I'm like, oh, if he's done it once, he'll do it again. He's never going to leave you in that space. And I think like back to the mental health thing too, it's like kind of always remembering that whatever season you're in is so temporary. And like, if it is a hard time, just like going to God and pushing through and like putting your faith in him to get you through it. And he will. There's an other side to it. And like, ultimately we know there's another life on the other side of this that we have to look forward to, which is so comforting. But I'd love to hear just like what people have had to battle through in their lives and like how it's really changed them and like impacted their faith. So I appreciate you sharing.
Of course, it's important to talk about.
Yeah, it is. And one thing I heard about you from the beginning, from Hannah and a few others, was just like, you're so strong in your faith. And I can tell just talking to you, and it seems like you do have a really great community around you. Yes. And your mom seems great. Like she seems like a strong mom to have gone through all of that. But I think community is so important. And you're right, we're not meant to be alone. And like, it's so vital to walk with each other and talk and like walk with God, and just putting all those things together to like really live a fruitful life. So. And
just knowing that it's okay to not be okay. And there's people out there that want to surround you with love and prayer. And it's okay to just say that. Yeah. You don't have to carry that alone within yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I know in a previous podcast, we talked about this too, of like, we're kind of discussing how he had gotten through some difficult things in his life. And I loved his perspective on it, because he was like, honestly, it sucked. Like, he's like very real about just saying like, yeah, it was a bad time and it was hard. And I think it's good to be like raw and real in your emotions with God, and not just throw a verse on it and, try to be happy all the time. Like, I think there's importance to grieving it and to having your moment with your emotions, and then like speaking truth over it and stuff too.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So kind of like going back to your job now with the Cowboys, how has that been? And like, tell me about your coolest experiences you've had so far.
Yeah, it has been the most incredible experience. It's crazy that next month will mark a year working for the Cowboys. A little bit about my job. So I'm a social media specialist. So I help create content and manage a few different accounts. So the Star in Frisco, AT&T Stadium, Cowboys in the community. And so anything and everything that covers video or photo or content shoots, I get the experience to help with. And so again, no day is the same. So sometimes we are in the Star District talking about or covering a new menu that just was released, or the Academy of Country Music Awards was at the Star. Yes. So getting to be on the carpet and just talk to different celebrities, like, did not expect that to happen within my first year. Another cool experience was just every single game day. There's just no feeling like it, just being in the stadium before doors open and just capturing the excitement and all that has to offer. Like, it's such a fun, rewarding job, and I just love what I do. It's really fun.
Yeah, and I feel like there's like a pride to working for the Cowboys because this organization is just so massive and so well known and has a standard of excellence, and to be a part of it is really cool. And I feel like when you tell people like, oh, I work for the Cowboys, everyone's like, really? Like, so it's cool to be on the inside of it, and we get to see different parts of it, obviously, right. But we're both a part of that like game day experience. Yes. You're right, there's nothing like it. AT&T is a great place.
Right, and even just to see how much they do for the community. So just with youth camps and going into hospitals on Christmas Day, like just getting to be a part of that and capturing that is just special, because it's not just about football. Right. It's not just about food and the shopping. There's so much more to it, and I'm just so grateful. Every day I just wake up just grateful to be a part of this organization.
Yeah. I agree with you. Like, the best times I've had as a cheerleader have been in the community, and just having that platform to have an outreach like that and get to work with kids and adults and veterans and all the things, like, it's the most special part of it. And I'm so glad the Cowboys have such a big heart for the community, and obviously, like, it's such a big brand and we're able to give back in big ways. And so it's fun. It's a great job.
It is. One of my first few weeks, Beyonce came to AT&T Stadium, so I got to cover the whole shebang of fans walking in and the different drinks that were served. It was a time.
Did you get to like be front row for the concert?
I wasn't front row, but I was in the elements. Yes, it was fun.
You didn't get a meter, did you?
No, no.
They should have
one day.
That would have been so cool.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
So many cool experiences.
Yeah, and we talked about it, but I want you to talk about it a little bit. You just got married.
I did. Yes.
So I know you alluded to the fact that you guys met in Jacksonville, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that whole story.
Yes, so I was working in Jacksonville. First day I moved to Jacksonville, I got plugged into a church community, went to some like meet and greet night or something like that. So started early on making a good core group of friends and just being involved. And again, that's such an important part of my faith, is just living in community. And so one day I was invited to a game night through some young adults at our church at someone's apartment. I was just sitting there. Someone said, "Oh, I'm about to go get Jamal from the front lobby." He walks in and I said, "Oh, that's Jamal." And so
he's like, "Who's that?"
Yeah, I was like, "Who is that?" And so he was just in the kitchen. He didn't really know a lot of people. He was eating popcorn. And I just walked up and I was like, "Hi, I'm Kennedy. You new here?" Something like that. Yeah. And we talked that night and never stopped talking. That was October 2022, and now it's 2024. And we just really took our time to get to know each other as friends, and then that turned into a relationship, and we both were just involved in the same core group of like-minded friends and doing similar activities, and just got to know more about each other without the pressure of, okay, we have to date. Like we really knew from that night that we were meant for each other. And I didn't even realize until months later, probably like a full year later, he had told his brother that night, I think I found my wife. Like he left that game night, and I told my mom something similar. It was one of those kind of just knew we were the one for each other. Yeah. Okay. And so, I got to know each other in Jacksonville. He's from Ohio. I'm from Texas. So even just how we met, we were only there for a short amount of time, was just very special and unique. And during that time, I was still very involved in news and the breaking news life. And he said, I will wait until you are ready. Like, because I wanted to, with anything, give 100% to any relationship or anything like that. And I was going through it, just with a lot that was going on. And we took our time to just become just such great friends. And that did turn into a relationship. And when I stepped away from news last year, moved back to Texas. A few months later, he moved to Texas. And then shortly after that, we got engaged. So we dated for a year, got engaged here in Texas, and then had a very short engagement of 4 months, and then got married this past April. So he is the most amazing person in the world. So
sweet. Such a beautiful story. So you guys, how long were you friends first before you were like, okay, we want to date?
We probably took like 3 or 4 months to just, get to know each other.
No pressure.
Doing all of the things with our great group of friends. And then we knew, like, this is it. This is it. So he got to meet my family. I was able to meet his family, and we all love each other. So it worked out really well.
What was it about him that you were like, yes, this is my guy?
Yeah. One of the things, how he treats like other people, I always notice like how somebody treats the waiter or somebody who, is helping wash your car, just something like that. I just always notice how people treat other people. And he's just always been just he has such a kind heart and just loves people so well and loves me so well. And I think just that really stood out to me. And then we just have so much fun together. Like people say, date your best friend. Like we really do just love being around each other, whether we're just finding a new show or playing tennis or pickleball. Like we just bring out the best in each other. And that's something that I was looking for in a partner. Like, of course, a man of God and someone like-minded, but we also just have the best time together.
Sweet.
All the time.
Probably so natural the way it like all unfolded.
Yes, it was.
Aww, I love that. I can't believe you planned a wedding in 4 months.
Yes.
It's wild.
People thought we were a little crazy, but it was possible. I mean, just making those quick decisions, and my mom treated this like her 9 to 5 and got to work, and it was still the wedding of our dreams. Every detail was there. It was a perfect day.
It looked stunning.
Thank you.
I remember seeing your pictures on Instagram. Yes. I saw you guys got engaged at the Star, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Was it on the...
It was on the plaza.
Okay, yeah, so cute. And then I saw your pictures from your wedding, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are stunning. Also, I was like, I need her arms.
Thank you. You're funny. Thank you.
What's her workout routine? But they were so pretty. So I'm glad it all came together that fast. And I feel like when God's hand is just in it like that, it just works out. And
right.
Thank God for your mom.
Yes.
Just taking it on.
Yes, and I was always told, like, dating shouldn't be stressful or make you anxious. Like it just flowed so well. And we, again, just taking our time to do it the right way. And now we just get to live life together and just make those special memories. So it was God's hand for sure.
Yeah, and choosing to do it the right way, like then also like just sets you up for such a good marriage and success in that. And I love that. So sweet. So sweet. So you said that now you feel most at peace, like where you're at, working for the Cowboys, being married. How do you maintain all of that, and what do you kind of see for the future and for you and your family?
That's such a great question. I think for me, waking up every day before I go to work or before I go to the grocery store, at the end of the day, I just want people to see Jesus through me, and that can look like so many different ways, but I just want my life to be a life lived of just purpose and passion and just walking in what God's called me to do. Because yes, I worked very, very hard at some things from the time I was a freshman in college and thought that was the thing and loved kind of being wrapped into the go, go, go. But at the end of the day, I really had to take a step back and realize that if I'm not happy inside, if I'm not content inside, then what am I doing?
Yeah.
And so joining the organization of the Dallas Cowboys and just being newly married and being surrounded with such great community has really just shaped so much for me, because I recognize now, maybe even if I didn't recognize it then, that like, this is what living is about. You shouldn't be full of anxiety or just walking with a cloud hanging over your head. Like, we were meant to live and be and surround ourselves with people that we love and care about. And so I think for me, I just want to continue working at my craft. And again, I love what I do so much. And so I just want to give 100% to that. And eventually Jamal and I want to start a family one day. And we look forward to that. And just even moving back to Texas, getting to see my nephews grow up. And just, I came from missing so much working in news. I had missed every Christmas and Thanksgiving and birthday and just those special moments that I understood was part of the job. But now just being in my hometown and just even having a little more flexibility, it's just so special to just know what matters most to me and getting to live that out fully, for sure.
I think there's like an abundance of joy when you're walking in the will of what he has for your life. And
for sure.
Being content. Like, being content can be so hard.
Yeah.
But I'm in the same place now, too, where, like, I trained for the Cowboys. I had to give up a lot and sacrifice a lot. And now I was like, this is the moment where I just want to rest and be, you know, present in other people's lives more and have that time and flexibility to do that while also being so purposeful in your work, like you said. So I totally relate to that.
Definitely. And I remember writing in my journal, and it was 2020. I was in Oregon, and just in a very low moment, just writing like, this isn't what I pictured. Like, there has to be more in store for me. Just a very like heartfelt moment in my life, and just getting to see things come full circle, just feeling full of peace and genuine joy. It's just really nice to see those full circle moments come back around.
That's awesome. I'm wishing you guys the best year.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to see just everything you do within the Cowboys and with your family, and be a little cheerleader on the sidelines for you guys.
Yes, and I'll still be seeing you around. This was such a great conversation. Thank you.
It was. I'm so glad I got to know you at the same time. Sweetest Honey's getting to know you, and you can tell she's just radiates God's light and love.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking your time to talk.
Of course.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next time on Sweetest Honey.